All right, we're back, but just in time for the timer to start ticking down. You guys can hear those beep, beep, boops. Real quick, though, here's my crazy idea for a tournament, all right, guys? And I'm fully aware this is crazy. Actually, before that, big thank you to Archon and the SCV for the 3-month resub, since I chose 3 months of BaseTradeTV over a 12th pack. Well, hey, man, I'm glad that we're helping you with your drinking problem there. Whoops, press all these wrong buttons. There we go. Yoda the Drunk with a 7-month resub says Pertoof will be mine. And Eraldem81, 11 months, saying loved your casting and DreamHack, good quality SC2 equals BaseTradeTV. Snoo. Yo, thank you so much. I'm glad you guys actually. I didn't really realize this until after we were done, but I think that's the very first time we did live casting where I didn't feel like nervous about it. Like we just kind of sat down, chilled, and did StarCraft. It was really fun. I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm glad other people did too. That being said, game number 3. Now it's a bit confusing for anyone just tuning in, and we'll explain in a moment. But the top left, we got the Blue Zerg Bly.
In the bottom right is the Red Protoss. He is Neeb.
Now, there was some European server login issues. Neeb had relogged earlier and was unable to log back on, which is why we put a pause on this series to jump to the other semifinals. But we were already 2 games deep. And for the quick recap of those who missed it earlier, like Neeb had a pretty expected win. It was good, but both players in both games that they won, like Bly and Neeb each, respectively, kind of did these all-in moves that were just, it was an army supply numbers game. There wasn't like sneak attacks. There wasn't tech. I will say, though, I was a lot more impressed with Bly's. We've seen Neeb's 100 times, so it's like, whatever, I don't care. Bly winning with like 20 Ravagers and what felt like infinite Queen Transfuses, though, that was really cool. And we had never seen that before.
That was really cool. Just pure Ravager. How did you do Nelisuna for the 14-month resub? And then Neeb followed up with his own all-in, just a lot of adepts, and Bly was totally unprepared. Bly is the one that chose Paladino. This is loser's pick, and is the old map pool. And this is not as, well, I mean, it's out of the map pool now, I suppose, so it's kind of worthless to talk about its history. It's like tomorrow is going to be like, it's gone forever. But yeah, in the history of Paladino, it really started off 75% of its life with just being something that was terrible and no one wanted to choose it unless they specifically wanted to be cheesy, that's the word. So like the Roach Ravager all-ins or the 3 Raxes or whatever it is. And then for the last 25% of its life, we had the Terrans kind of starting to choose it. And then for like the last like 5 of that 25%, you said Protosses and Zergs choose it a lot. So I don't think Bly chose this to be super aggressive, but it's a possibility. And I don't think Neeb was too afraid that this was chosen, but there's always that scared factor of like, what exactly is he going to do to me? Ling all-ins, Ling drops, Roach rushes. What's going to happen?
Well, these first 2 taps are going to get a couple of kills in the main. Bly a little bit later. Bly, because he was busy looking elsewhere with his Lings.
4 drones is like exactly what 2 adepts want. If they get 6, if they get 7, oh, he's gonna get 7. Oh no, he didn't shoot. There we go.
There you go.
Slow adept attack.
Really
7
nice.
is pretty good. I mean, sometimes you can get 4 and the adept lives, like one of the adepts lives, and that's also pretty good. But 7 and both dying, with Bly having invested a bit more into Lings than helped. Yeah, that's pretty good. We have a Stargate on the way now. This is not really the strongest wall, you know, 2 pylons and a weak point of an adept, but it will hold against Lings for now. So yeah, Stargate in the main base, something that Bly didn't see, I don't think. No, he didn't. His Overlord might, there's something to shoot it down. That is a lot of Lings on the way. That is more Lings.
I think part of what he was doing was just looking to see if there'd be an opening to go for a drop Overlord.
Yeah.
He does. I think for a moment he thought maybe he was in the gas, or maybe he wants Neeb to see this, but yeah, drop Overlord fully revealed.
I wonder if this is more just him wanting Neeb to see it, because he hasn't sent any Lings over there yet. It's all still on the front and all to the right side, where another drop Overlord did just unload a couple of Lings.
Ooh, I love this.
He pylon blocks the front, but it doesn't matter. It's still such a low health pylon.
Oh man, Bly may have just got Neeb with his pants down in a very, very terrible way. Adepts are coming in. It looks like the secondary gateway creates a very interesting choke at the ramp. This might
Yeah,
not
it's
get
not
too out of
another
hand.
wall, but... And the Oracle pops out. It's got a pop. There we go. Not a lot of pros have been killed yet, and Bly is very dedicated with this. 22 more lings on the way, still down 9 workers.
His safest bet might have been just to jump back up into the Overlord, but he runs past everything to go back towards the main. That's where he can get some probe kills, maybe. It's the one pylon, but it's kind of out of range, so overcharge I don't think is really an option.
Yeah, and you can't forget about that second Overlord that might have been scouted, but it can't be killed. Phoenix might be on Neeb's things to make, but he is limited on his income. Alright, Neeb, does he have enough to spread across 2 different locations? I mean, this is only an Overlord job worth, so the probes pool could technically help take care of it, but you never ever want to do that.
Oh, he never put the wall back up, so the reinforcements get an immediate surround on the Adepts. Little bit by little bit, they start going down.
Oracle's once again helping out here. Militia Corps didn't even... I'm not sure she popped an overcharge. She did not. So the main was dealt with an Adept and Lings, and I guess the just regular damage of the Militia Corps. And the Natural was dealt once again with Adepts and Probes. So, okay, he's like 5 more probes there, but Neeb had started rebuilding them, so he's still at 36 to 31.
Yeah, Bly was so dedicated. I think getting more damage done was preferable, and at this point the wall should be easily blocked off if it needs to be. I don't know, like, credit where it's due, Neeb has a pretty good defense for a very shaky situation, but I don't know that he's necessarily so far ahead that Bly's out of the game yet. Bly's actually been able to sneak in a couple drones behind all this, right? He's got enough probe kills to kind of make this more worthwhile. 3 bases behind it, but if he throws away too much army, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter what's on the other side, because things like Oracles come in and start killing.
5 drones is pretty important for Bly's economy.
Yeah.
Down to 31 once again.
Very important.
Makes 14 drones instantly. This larva finally popped or something. That's, Queen should go down. So silly. And the Oracle lives. Adepts are going to that 3rd base, and if they get into that mineral line, no one has any upgrades, but the Adepts will win out bare bones against the wall. Lings will not. No Banelings, no +1, not enough Queens to help really deal damage to them. They're going to chase the drones, which is a little bit dangerous. Still up against a wall, but there we go. All the Queens have come forward here. As Bly is, I think, once again looking for that same all-in. So it's off of a similar scenario where Neeb throws his Adepts at Bly, and then Bly counters with Roaches and Queens, and assumingly Ravagers. But this game is very different. He was at a much lower economy for most of the game, and he had already spent so much larva on Lings. That's I don't think it's really going to be the same like 7-minute all-in that it was. And I'm not even sure he can get as many Ravagers. He got like 20 Ravagers over the course of that last game, or the first game. I don't know if it's the same thing here.
Well, both the drop overlords were cleaned up, so there's no chance of that happening. But with Queens and Roaches marching, I mean, there's not going to be 4 Immortals waiting. There might be 1. I think Transfuses will actually be good for the Roaches. Oh, but it's 2 Ravagers.
As many as he can make, which is not a lot. Enough to help burn down a pylon, or maybe help catch the Mothership Core with the Queens. Just the useful things to have, but it's not quite the same composition. Oracle is constantly threatening Bly's Natural as well because all of the Queens are on the front lines, so he's down to 28 drones now. Neeb has economy, Neeb has army, and Neeb has decent production on the way. And protection with overcharges. I think he's got this in a much more sure way than that Newkirk game. But one of the ways he lost his lead on the Newkirk game was by moving out and getting his army destroyed, so just gotta be patient. Guardian Shield popped. Ravager's trying to get all those shots in, and he has made a lot more. The one Roach he had left over dies. Queens aren't doing the best job transfusing each other or the Ravagers. And most of them die with a lot of energy.
This is looking really grim for Bly. Last time we saw this strategy come out of him, the thing was he had army supply leads both times. However, it's trailing a bit behind both workers and army.
Yeah, this was... I don't think this is a winnable position. Neeb is a 3rd base, and he doesn't have a lot of probes transfer over there. Eventually he will. be up to like the 60 good 60 count with some to transfer over from the main base. He's still missing actual upgrades, but he has everything glaives and a lot of sentries with force fields and guardian shield, and his army is just superior unless he stands in corrosive vials. Adepts, not too worthwhile there.
No, that was a nice round too.
Banliness now on the way as Bly realizes he has to go defensive here and start accommodating for the army of Bly, or of Neeb. But Neeb has sentries as well, so he would need a lot of Banelings, combination Ravager shots with the force fields to make them effective. But Neeb might really be thinking back to that Newkirk game where he pushed out and then got surrounded on creep, and that really accelerated his loss. So he's being a little conservative.
Blind not even getting that program main kind of sucks.
Yeah. You get a Griffithus for a 33-month resub. 33 months. What? What?
Should. I'm gonna guess without looking. That probably sets him up as the bit boss too.
Probably. Couldn't tell me. Fourth base on the way for Bly, but he's down 30 overall supply. 39 drones is just terrible to look at 11 minutes. Neeb has reached that pretty perfect 60 count. Has force fields aplenty, so even if they get broken, they can be planted down instantly again.
Yeah, Crossbows are trying to break them too. Banelings barely get through. They get some decent connections actually. The Lings on the left side starting to chase down a lot of the sentries. Not that many force fields left. But Bly's army supply is still just non-existent compared to Neeb's.
Yeah, he has like 4 or 5 left over. I guess one of them would go to a Guardian Shield again, but no, he still has enough.
Right, making more Ravagers. Looks like there.
Are you zoomed in right now?
No.
Okay. Well, it's fine. I can look at it like this.
Okay, well, I was gonna just comment really quick that it was a bit of a question. Did Bly go 20 Ravagers in that first game out of preparation or desperation? And looks like preparation was the answer as he sets up for this again this game around. I mean, again, the logic here is Neeb doesn't have anything that deals damage to bonus versus light. So all of these units, which are either not armored or light, they're not going to take bonus from Stalkers. They're not going to take bonus from Adepts or Immortals. Actually, no, Adepts bonus damage to lights, just the Lings. But still, Ravagers have no armor classification.
I really like the idea because the transfuses cover the health gap between Roaches and Ravagers. But there weren't any transfuses really in this game. He just was missing them. And in general, it's still kind of a risky thing to do because Roaches, you're already all linning. And in this game, it was off the back of like a bunch of lost drones. But then on top of that, like it just Ravagers are that next step of being expensive. They're more expensive. They are added on top of the Roaches, and they take up more supply, I think, too. But more importantly, that's more time that you give maybe the Protoss at crucial time to repair.
Yeah. This is too much, though. The Depths got him behind Bly while this went on. Got drone kills, and GG gets called. Alright, so guys, hear me out. I didn't get to tell you my awesome tournament idea before the game started, right? So, it's like a bit of a joke tournament idea. But if you guys remember that mod we used recently for that free-for-all where we could like on the fly edit units, add units, and change stats on things, I was thinking we have a tournament called Bit by Bit where we create these custom workers that can't actually mine or build anything, but they can still attack and have the same health pool as a regular worker. And every time somebody in chat cheers, like say 100 bits is the equivalent of 1 worker, you would like cheer 1,000 for Scarlet, and we give Scarlet just like 10 workers. And the idea is that like these guys, whoever was playing, would just have like a front line of like 40 or 50 workers from all the modes that you guys have cheered. So we'd truly have these like bit by bit battles where you're pulling everything. You're pulling the boys in every single engagement. I know it's not a perfect idea and it needs refinement, but I'm curious. Would you guys want to watch something like that? I think that would be kind of fun and kind of silly.
I just imagine all the times that people cheer and it's like they weren't prepared to attack, so just they have like 10 SCVs just doing nothing.
They're just like, oh cool. Where did this come from? Go Abby. What?
Abyssal.
Ah.
I understand. I'm on his wavelength. Thank you to Dankling for the new sub. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Finally, I has the monies. Thank you very much.
Thank you kindly, Danklings. Dankling, excuse me. I think we missed Super Saiyan Junior earlier too. 28 months to say Rifkin and Zombie are still the best casters. I don't care anyone say. Yo, man. I don't care anyone say about that sentence either. But I appreciate the message. Thank you, Nella Student, as well for the 14 months. And then apparently Archon in the SCV said he was actually alcoholic, so I feel a little bit bad about my joke earlier. I like this voting system. 1 for Apollo Cam, 2 for Nugget Cam. Where's 3 for Zombie Grub Cam?
Never. They're both so cute.
Game number 4. Man, I really want to see Bly's like mass Ravager strategy pay off again, though. I think that was really cool. But he is unfortunately on the ropes now as he's on his last life. Here in the top left for the other semifinals of the Corsair Cup, we have the Blue Zarg Bly playing for Team Expert.
Now bottom right is the red Protoss. It is Neeb.
What were the options for cat voting again?
1 is Apollo, 2 is for Nugget.
Oh god, go ahead, Nugget. Sorry, Apollo. Although, here, I'll give you a quick little, where's your webcam? Bloop. He is such an angel while he sleeps. Look at him, he's got that little, like, chill smile.
Yeah.
Alright, cat game.
Apollo's still my favorite, but you guys... This is actually a trick question to get to know which one you prefer, and I'm going to tell them later. I'm going to sit them down and be like, Apollo, I don't love you anymore, and he's going to cry and be really sad about it.
Actually, one of my favorite things on one of the recent YouTube video comments was, oh man, I came here for StarCraft, but I also get cats. You guys are the best. I was like, that is exactly why we use the cat cam in game sometimes.
It's just so cute. Oh,
this is super cheeky of all kinds of different and new varieties. I was like, man, this pylon is really early, right? But this is on purpose. Bly, right? Like, you typically wouldn't drone scout, so there's no reason to go over and realize something's up.
Yeah, this is just... So I feel like we saw Neeb do this once before. We definitely saw another Protoss who was well respected and like not as a cheeser before, and Neeb kind of fits those categories, but I don't remember when or why. I just remember it happening. And I think it was denied because most proxy gateway builds that we see are in fact denied. But this one might be for Adepts, not Zealots, which is a big difference. Like, it's not the proxy for gateway Adepts. Zealots. Yeah, it's Adepts. So that's just going to be such a big surprise. They're going to have the micro ability that Zealots just don't have. And, yeah, this is going to be complicated.
Well, so it's interesting. Zealot comes in and it kills the Queen actually fairly quickly, and then everything else is hard to deal with. But Adepts, they don't really have the same queen killing power, but they do have the ability to constantly dodge out with those shades and walk past everything. And oh, the Lings left the base at just the wrong time. Bly's gonna see this coming now, but what do you really do? I mean, you can't really turn around. He wants to break down the door, but there's nothing to break down. He
saw nothing at the natural and was immediately suspicious, and now he's gonna see. Well, I mean, he sees the Adepts already, right? But I think with the next two Adepts coming in so quickly, he's gonna realize it's also proxied. So Spinecrawler definitely a good thing to have, but with the projectile, the range that Adepts give, it might not be as easy to get that set up.
Ah, well here we're just interesting. Probes have to be pulled, and well, recently you got to witness Hero have like a perfect defense and no probes lost. I don't know if he's gonna be able to pull it. Neeb can pull that off for Supply.
I think when people said that it wasn't perfect, and I was like, shut up.
Like he lost 0 probes. Like you shut your mouth and never open it again.
That is a lot of Lings on the way, and they're gonna have speed. Neeb is just adding on more gateways because that's how you do it. 4 gateways, 4 gateway, Resident Glaive. Oh my god, there's so many things. 4 gateways, Resident Glaive Adepts, on one base. It's like Legacy of the Void was transferred back into 2010 Wings of Liberty. Like, it's just... I don't think this is a thing.
You know what that profession of the Adept is? She sold seashells by the seashore.
Yeah. I'm quite a tongue twister. There's a lot of words, but same effect.
It's an interesting moment where the 10 health on Nerf and the Adept really was visible as the Ling did kill it with its last attack on cooldown. But the gateways finish up. The gateways, what am I saying here? The gateways finish
we're both
up.
messing up pretty hard. Not as hard as
Neeb though. He had a full wall off.
Dead.
Now he can't overcharge anything over here. He pulls back to the mineral lines. And that sweet bird aside, Bly is doing a really great job responding to something he didn't scout coming at all.
I look at the follow-up especially, and I'm like, is this really a planned thing? Is this really something he does? I don't know. The Spine Collar advantage in the main base is going to help out a lot versus the small number of Adepts. So much for Adepts. With Englaves, it's still not even quite done, but for Mare's Core, you need that.
He's going to have resonating Englaves on like both of his Adepts, and that's really all he has.
I don't. This does not work. Neeb is just out of this. Tap out time. Game for 5.
By the way, thank you for all the subs and resubs. We'll get you guys caught up after this game. Things have gotten kind of nuts here, but I think this is going to go to game 5. People in chat were being all like, "Oh, it's going to be the best ZvP," blah, blah, blah. Like, Bly might just be bringing this back though. I mean, I really can't see Neeb getting to a natural base with Bly having this level of Ling control out there. And he's clearly not taking any more damage from Neeb. The Spine Crawlers, the Queens, the Lings, they're all good on the defense.
Yeah. I think he might be worried about a proxy Dark Shrine as well. I'm thinking for the Spore Crawler. Because he sees a Twilight Council, and he knows something is proxied somewhere. Well, he saw all the gateways, in fact, so he just hasn't quite seen if there's a Dark Shrine.
I like that move, though. He's playing it safe.
Yeah. It's funny, though, because I think the DTs could still get around that Spore Crawler in time. But it's,
That's gotta be key, so that's no problem.
Oh, it's a safety.
Yeah. Well, regardless, Neeb is, I don't know, SOL. He's not going to give up without attacking one more time, but Spine, Lings, Roaches.
Really hoping that the just power of Adepts gets shown for, like, there's always that chance, you know, that it just Bly stops building army.
There's always that chance that your race is pretty nice, you know, just like...
You know, either one.
All right, game 5 comes up, and then we go to the grand finals. Sit tight, folks. We'll see you soon. All right, we're getting into the game 5 final map here in the series. And the winner goes on to fight against Showtime in the grand finals. So things are tied up 2-2 here in the Corsair Cup, and in the top left, we got that blue Protoss. It's Neeb.
In the bottom left, as the red Zerg, he is Bly.
Okay, so I think it's pretty clear we know the way Bly wants to play given the right opportunities, right? But it was also really, I think, not just interesting, but good to see that, like, okay, Neeb went for some pretty, let's be honest, like, I almost want to call it desperate cheese. Like, nobody gateway rushes like that anymore, right? But it was really cool seeing Bly, A, handle it and defend it, but secondly, like, know how to respond to it, all without being given the proper information until it was already too late. But that also kind of shows the power of, like, why people aren't doing those gateway moves anymore. It's much easier to deal with now than it ever was in the past.
I really wonder why Neeb did that, but... Uh-oh. Oh, nope, I saved it. Haha.
I think he was just hoping he could get a easy closeout of the series, right?
I've never saved a sneeze before. That felt really weird.
Why did you save the sneeze? Just sneeze.
Because I tried to mute.
Good. It feels so
well,
good.
I wanted to mute before I did it, but I wasn't already, like, on the process, so I tried to hold that in and it didn't work. Anyways, it doesn't matter. No, I don't wonder, like, I mean, I know, like, just try and get that final win, and sometimes it does work. But I mean, I think that he could have done another cheesy thing that has, like, a higher chance of working than the proxy gateways. But he must have done it sometimes on ladder. I mean, it looks at practice, like, you know, the follow-ups made sense. The gateways timed out with the Cybernex core. Everything made sense about it, but I really wanted to see what it looked like without Bly even getting the counterattack damage in. Because in my mind, it still doesn't work. Like, it really has become easier and easier to deal with earlier and earlier aggression. Well, specifically gateway aggression. Gateway and barracks aggression, I suppose. Early pools still get stuff done. That's the real imbalance of Legacy of the Void. officially filing a complaint. I want my 2 racks back.
So some folks in chat want to know what we thought of DreamHack. So the funny thing is, I didn't get to see day 3, right? But I really enjoyed what happened with day 1 and day 2. And I think it was some of the most smooth / fluid community casting we've ever done for DreamHack. Because in the past, we've had really bad experiences, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, overall, I came into that saying, like, oh yeah, this was a great event, blah, blah, blah. But talking to the folks on the main stage, I didn't realize how many production issues they had or like computer problems they had up on the main stage of the event that caused all those delays. So
Exactly.
I was surprised. I was talking to everybody and they're like, oh, it's fucking horrible. I'm like, wait, what? Really? Why?
There's a lot of things that went wrong. For the venue, I think they fixed it faster than the online crowd, and so that's great for people that attended. It wasn't great for the online crowd at all. And then we just didn't have to notice it. But it wasn't just the delays that. It wasn't technical delays. It was just the planning of the event made day 2 so long.
Yep.
So, like, every day really ended pretty late. Sunday was the perfect point at which you hope every day is, where it ends early enough to go back to your hotel room and, rest a little bit, and then you can go out and have fun with your friends. But the other days are just terrible for it. And that's, games and stuff aside, I'm going to be honest, it's usually what I remember from an event, not the games, but the, hanging out with friends part, so.
Okay, so also just a note going forward. I've been seeing on and off complaints about volume and audio this whole cast, right? I've listened to them stream myself, it sounds fine. I've not seen any of our subscribers complain about it, only non-subscribers, and I don't know what the audio discrepancies people are bringing in is. Again, I've listened to the stream, it doesn't sound that bad, so my thoughts are only that there's trolling at this point. So I'm just going to say, guys, we're going to start timing out people who are complaining about audio, unless I start seeing subscribers bring this up too. In which case, if there is an issue, please let us know. Don't be timid about it, because I'd like the stream to be good quality, but I've listened to it during the breaks, and I don't hear any problems or discrepancies.
That's weird. Well, devs moving here. We have lings already available and roaches now being made, and I feel like Bly is once again going to go for the same Ravager queen push. I guess he doesn't have as many queens, and in fact one just died, so it might just be roach ling attack. But the point is, like, some type of attack beyond this. Now Neeb, he got the Stargate after the Adept attack, so I figured he'd be going more into Stargate production, like Void Rays, or even into like carriers and whatnot. But I didn't think it would be this fast to a fleet beacon. This is extremely fast.
We've seen tons of players do this on Underground specifically, but yeah, usually it's after the 3rd base is down and after you've got a decent army to turtle up with. So the rush of it's a bit odd because carriers on their own are honestly not that great. I don't know what you would get this for otherwise.
Yeah, pretty sure it's carriers. So Bly has quite a few units, but he did not send them all forward and is not... okay, he's going back and adjoining a little bit. He's actually banking so much.
Well, what's kind of cool too is Bly, if you guys missed it, he actually had a pretty good game versus carriers and Templar and kind of that ultimate Protoss composition on this map. I want to say about a week or 2 weeks ago. And he had some lurkers. He had, of course, just a little bit of everything. But he was actually able to pull it off where we've seen a lot of players just kind of balance one and lose. So I'm curious to see if he'll be able to do it here versus Neeb.
Well, he has to scout it. Which unfortunately hasn't happened yet. Almost got it. The only scouting he has is in that natural. I feel like if he had seen it with that ling run by, even if the lings were cleaned up, he would have been more aggressive. He had this moment in time where it looked like he was even thinking about what he wanted to do. Like, should I drone or should I make a lot of army? And then he went for drones eventually after his lair started. And I fear now, with that kind of like in-between decision-making, like some army and then some drones and then some army again, like he's not at a very good economy. He's getting there, but it's not very good now. And he hasn't done anything to Neeb that would stop him from getting to a very good number of carriers. Bly is going to Spire, I suppose. And he finally sees what exactly is happening, so he goes even for a double Spire. That's something we don't see too often anymore. But double upgrades can be useful.
Read the feedback about audio. See, it's so weird. Like, it almost feels like there's two different channels of audio going out. Some people are just not getting the same feed as others. I don't know, man.
It seems more like some people just don't care that I'm a little bit louder. Like, it really is something very tiny.
Yeah, well, anyways, carriers, maybe, I'm not sure, reveal for the first time here. Either way, no problem pushing back the roaches.
Yeah, his overseer got into that main base like 30 seconds ago. I think he was hoping there weren't any carriers, or there just would be out of position defending a 4th base, and that's why he sent his units forward, but it looked very awkward. He already wasn't at a fantastic economy and is now losing a couple of drones. His 4th base is in a very aggressive place, which would usually be great if he was in the right position to be aggressive, if he was actually controlling the game. But I fear with an aggressive 4th base like this, it'll just die. Kind of questionable.
It's so weird because it's such a low amount of units, like 2 carriers and a mothership, and like really there's nothing to stop it.
This is usually just too small of an army, you know? Like, if they have 16 Hydras because they had a decent macro game and prepared for this, like, this dies. Or a couple queens in there too, and yeah, it dies, and you just wonder what happened. But Neeb probably wasn't expecting to do this much damage. You know, he has a mothership that can recall. If things really did look hairy, he would have just recalled out. But having killed, not canceled a 4th base, focus firing this 3rd, not quite gonna get it. I guess
he really
assumed
wanted that
transfuses were gonna come in there or something.
That's where you really wish you could still dump the interceptors, right?
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah, that would have been very effective use of them. But Bly still lost the 4th base, a handful of drones, and is still kind of being like halted on his response to this.
He almost, like, I think right there he was really contemplating sacking for that Nexus, but 4 Void Rays at a time means there's going to be a lot of Void Rays in play, and this is going to be just too difficult to get those kills.
I think for Bly, you know, again, if he had this really baller economy and really great bank, and you make 20 Corruptors immediately, he kills the Mothership core, or the Mothership rather, for sure. She's already so low. And he kills the other 2 carriers, and then the Void Ray production probably isn't quite fast enough. But 8 carriers, or 8 Corruptors, like, that's really not that scary. And now Neeb's gonna have 8 Void Rays, but even the 4 seems to be enough. So this is just feeling like this game is already snowballed, unless Bly can get some really cool tricks, or just buy enough time until he also gets maxed out.
I mean, the Infestors are really, I like the idea, but there's nothing to combo them with. Like, there's no fungal growth holding an army in place for corrosive bios to land. There's no fungal growth leading into parasitic bombs. He's thinking about Neural Parasite, but that's even had very limited success. We saw in that free-for-all match, right? Neural Parasited all of Drogo's carriers, attacked them with his own spore crawlers, and still couldn't kill them all in time.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really liked Neural Parasite except for like 1 game, maybe 2. That's it. So I'm not too excited to see what this does.
I still can't. I'm like just rolling my eyes over the fact that this was like a 2-carrier rush into Mass Void Ray. Like, what?
Yeah, 2-carrier rush. Yeah, for sure. I think there's something that happened that really threw Bly's like just flow of the game off. Maybe he changed his mind at some point, or maybe the Adepts really just did too much damage. Okay, get some militia. I don't think it really matters though.
Nah, 2 very important bases just died. The Corruptors will probably die too. I mean, sure, Prismatic Alignment's on cooldown at the moment, but even without it, as we see, these Void Rays are tearing through those Corruptors. GG. Neeb takes the series 3-2.
Ah, your mic. Oh god. Neeb goes on 3-2 to face off against Showtime in the grand finals, which is another best of 5. I assume that Rifkin is fixing his mic right now, and as such, we'll just... Okay, he's fine now.
Cool! Excellent. All right, commercial break time. See you soon.